So I'm Andi Turner and I work as a, well I don't work, I work as a teacher, but I'm also a BMC Access volunteer. Getting access to crags, it's sort of, it depends on whereabouts the crag's based. So we've got some places which are clearly on private land. I mean, all land is owned by somebody, but some people are much more relatable or allowing them sort of things to go on. So a lot of places that are on in the Peak District, on open access land and things like that, we've got a right to be there. Whereas other places which are a little bit more difficult to get onto, either because the landowners don't like climbers being there, or in the case of places like these rocks that we're on now, effectively we are actually kind of in somebody's garden. So it really depends upon the landowner and their approach to you as much as your approach to them. And having to come along and be someone that's responsible and caring, I suppose, really. And that's kind of what's worked for me in the past anyway, but it's not always something that you can just outright ask. And I was very fortunate with this one to actually bump into the landowner in person.
Andy came and I was just actually coming through, and he came through with his children, and we just got chatting. We actually do have a path, a public footpathway that comes through our property. So it's not unknown for people to just suddenly appear in my garden thinking, who the hell are they? So we just got chatting, and then Andy said, well, I'm a climber. You've got these rocks. I've always wondered about what those rocks would be like. So within that's perhaps 10 minutes into a conversation by which I'd already sort of got a bit of a feel for what Andy was like. And then I thought, yeah, why not? I've got nothing to lose, and if he's respectful of the property, then let it happen, yeah.
He understood that rocks don't really sort of belong to people. He definitely sees us as custodians of rocks in a way and land. And if people are going to be decent and kind and respect it all, then yeah, then you can actually manage to get some sort of access to these places.
You know, I've always said in a property like this, you know, when these rocks are millions and millions of years old, we don't actually own them. You might say on our title deeds that they happen to be in our field, but really we're just temporary custodians as we pass through. So as long as you're respectful to people and do the right sort of things and say please and thank you, you won't go far wrong.
A lot of it is kind of dependent on what the landowner sees as their land ownership. So on this piece of land, he keeps some sheep here, he knows we're not going to cause any issues, but another landowner might be someone that's interested in the wildlife that's on his land, or what crops he's growing, or there's lots of different things that could be of their interest, you see, so we've got to be sensitive to that. I suppose my main fear would be that people would come here and not show that same level of respect that the landowner expects of you. There's a tipping point which would be very easily unbalanced by only a little bit of behaviour by even a minority of people. There is that anarchic climber side, but it's just like we should be able to climb wherever we want, you know. It's land, we're not doing any damage, we're going to leave no trace and all that kind of stuff. I could have come here, or anyone could have done, and just climbed on the rocks, got kicked off. You could have still climbed all the routes that were here, sort of thing. As far as I'm concerned, the wrong way of going about doing it. That's kind of like the selfish way of doing it, you know. So for me, yeah, definitely, it's all about maintaining relationships with landowners, so that they're happy for you to continue doing it, and then also that they can pick up on your passion as well. It's not just about how you act when you're here. So obviously we're not going to drop litter. Any other sort of like types of pollution as well, so noise, just how intrusive you are. Keeping a low profile should be kind of high on people's agenda, regardless of where you are. You know, it could be in somewhere that's really open access. So like locally for us, the Roaches, we've still got to remember that other people who are going there aren't climbers. People are going up there to do bird watching or looking for wildlife or going for picnics with the family or this, that and the other. And it's very important that we don't just see ourselves as sort of like sacred because we're climbers and we're on the rocks. It needs to be the whole thing that you put across. So even people that are going to be driving up here to go to the little milk shack that's up the road here, you want them to see you and go, they're being good, they're being low profile, you know, just trying to keep on top of that all the time. And that's what I'll be trying to impress upon Lyra and Gabriel to bring them up here, not to be sort of loud and rambunctious and making a mess, or, you know, all the little things that you could do, even down to tiny things like being very aware of where you're leaving chalk on the rock and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's really important that we really sort of like keep on top of that.
Yay.
Did it!
You did. Perfect spot it is.
Here.
You're not going to get up there.
It's here.
God,
chance.